now.
Biggest meltdown in Stanley Cup playoff history is now owned by the Calgary Flames. Up 3-0. Got it in the bag, trying to stave off elimination, and then that is soiling the sheets right there.
Oh, yeah.
How about that?
I just want to talk about Vegas for a second, obviously. Our 10th city for viewership, I guess.
Yeah.
In the top 10 is Las Vegas.
Hey.
They get it in Vegas.
Well, they get it.
They get it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, good morning, Canada. Welcome to the RP Show. Canadian sports fans around the world, welcome, welcome, welcome. I can guarantee you one thing. Darren DuPont and I are going to make you feel good over the next 2 hours. Hour 1 on Game Plus TV and the full show on Facebook Live. How are you, Dupes?
I'm doing great.
Good. You ready for a new week?
Oh, yeah.
I
love rolling in here in the morning on Monday.
So do I. I couldn't wait to get in here, by the way. But I was so excited to get to the quick 6 show topics. And hang on, Jordan. I will get to them in a moment. I totally forgot to write down who our guests are on the program today. And it's a big guest list today. Our NFL insider, Tori Gurley's going to be with us. Randy Chevrier, former Dallas Cowboys long snapper. Jaguars, I think, too. And, of course, gained fame in the Canadian Football League, primarily with the Calgary Stampeders. And Kevin Killer Kaminsky's going to be with us. Former Washington Capitals tough guy. Now the head coach and GM of the L'Orange Ice Wolves. So a lot of hockey and football. As I told a guy on the golf course yesterday, I am fluent in both official Canadian languages, football and hockey, as you know.
Yes.
So those are the guests. But are you ready to go with a quick 6 show topics?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here in hour 1. Let's hear it, Jordan. Number 1, CFL news. There's a lot today, and our analytics and studies show that the majority of you are here for football news. So we're going to cover that here in the rollout for Flooring Superstores. And they include this, Sunday's news that Saskatchewan kicker Brett Lowther has opted out of his contract to try the NFL. This morning we get word that Toronto Argonauts quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson, courtesy 3 Down Nation, by the way, is opting out of his contract. And then this morning, just moments ago, we find out that Dakota Shepley, Saskatchewan Roughriders star right guard, friend of this show, is opting out of his contract. So here it comes, folks. These are guys that are just tearing up their contract. It comes with conditions, I think very understandable conditions from the Canadian Football League, but they're gone.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll come to that. Point 2, I heard it all weekend. I don't know how much stock to put into it, but it's a worthwhile discussion. Is the 2021 CFL season in jeopardy? Because with the economics of the CFL, currently the way the money works in the CFL, if they can't play this year and the climate with the pandemic doesn't change by next year, they're not playing next year either. So it's a worthwhile discussion. To hockey. And over the weekend, we saw this. The Golden Knights, the Bruins, and the Avalanche are all up 1-0. There are 3 Colorado Avalanche fans in this province that I can find, and I was with them all on Saturday night, maybe 4. And we were watching the game. And they don't have a lot of hope for the series with Philip Grubauer out. He's not going to play tonight in Game 2, the Avalanche goalie. So we'll talk about that. Point 4, the Lehner, Flurry, and agent Alan Walsh controversy. We got to talk about this. Producer Clark, would you mind putting up the photo, by the way? The agent for Golden Knights goalie, Marc-Andre Fleury, Alan Walsh, put this tweet out on the weekend. Do you have it ready? 1 second, he says. We're working on it. There we go. There it is. That's the goalie for Vegas with a knife through his back. And the knife says on it, DeBoer. That's the coach of the Golden Knights, for those of you that don't know. Yowza. Yeah. So we'll come back on that. That tweet by the agent, Alan Walsh, the agent for the goalie, has since been deleted at the goalie's request, but we'll get into that. Oh, by the way, did you see who posted a 26-save shutout last night? Robin Lehner.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So that... Point 5, and we got our next pick coming up here. NFL notes, 20 days till kickoff in the National Football League. Notes out of the weekend, Earl Thomas cut by the Baltimore Ravens after getting in a training camp skirmish with a teammate. I guess you can you do that or you can't? I guess you can't do that in Baltimore, but somebody will sign him. Somebody's going to sign.
I would assume so.
Ranked the 12th best defensive back in the NFL, Earl Thomas, no longer Baltimore Raven. There was a major COVID scare over the weekend in the NFL. You heard about that?
Jersey, right?
It was a lab in New Jersey. 6 teams believe that they had a massive coronavirus outbreak within their team because of the lab results from a New Jersey lab. Turned out they were wrong. But as I read this morning in the USA Today, it served as a great false alarm fire drill for the National Football League in the event that this would happen. Biggest news for me out of the NFL was on Saturday, Chris Jones changed his profile pic. Can you put that up? There it is. Our good friend Chris Jones, the senior defensive assistant of the Cleveland Browns, changed his profile on his Twitter handle at ChrisJonesHC. And, of course, I had people tweeting me going, no, that's a fake account. That's not really Chris Jones. Really? How do you know? Because I think it is. Have you followed that account at all?
I've looked at the account. There's not a lot of tweets, and they're all stuff that I would assume he would put up. It's not like Chris Jones to do hashtag new profile pic and post it, but maybe it is. I mean,
I think it is Chris Jones.
There's a picture of him with the Grey Cup on the plane coming back with the Eskimos.
Yeah, I saw all those.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, you don't just snag that photo sitting with Ed Hervey in the Grey Cup between the two of them on a private jet. So I believe that is Chris Jones, and he's now following me. Thanks for the follow, Coach. And the Browns were one of those 6 teams, by the way, that thought they had a massive COVID outbreak. Not funny. I'm going to read the comments as we roll along here. JR in Cranbrook, BC is watching, and he says, Vegas getting helped again, like in their first year. Hashtag Bettman's team. Yeah, that's right. Whatever. We'll take it. Get used to it. We were dealing with that with Kelly McCrimmon teams in the WHL for 20 years. Now the rest of the NHL gets to enjoy his dominance. Who cares if they're the league's teacher's pet? Whatever. Suck it up. Watching the Vancouver fans whine and cry and pee and moan. It's like that was also the highlight of my weekend. Point 6. Raptors Celtics in round 2 of the NBA playoffs. I watched maybe 60 seconds of the Raptors and Nets in round 1. And it was a gimme series, as Rod Black predicted on this show. And then the Blue Jays in Tampa, they're playing today. And the Rays have taken the last 2. They snapped that Jays win streak at 6. It's led to our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Who's got you more excited these days? The Blue Jays or the Raptors? And I posted that a couple hours ago, to our Twitter poll, and it was like right around 50-50. I'm not sure what it is on Facebook, but here's my thing. Probably when the Raptors get a little deeper in these NBA playoffs, and we all think they're going to the final. See, it's 60-40 Raptors right now. But if I'm here, and I'm following them both, but the point is, if I'm sitting down and one's on one channel and another's on the other, I'm probably watching the Blue Jays. To me, they're more exciting right now.
I'm going the other way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I got the Raptors. So I think that's massively, because they're in the playoffs now. And it's the first sweep. They won a championship, but this is their first series sweep in franchise history. They're playing well. I love the intrigue about them trying to repeat without Kawhi. I'm all in on the Raptors right now. Wake me up with like 15 games, 10 games to go in baseball if the Jays are still in contention for a playoff spot. Then I'll be in.
But it's only 60 games, so it is a sprint for the Blue Jays. So, and you saw Vladdy hit a triple yesterday. Yeah. You saw him trotting around the bases with his helmet. Blah, 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 blah. He's the body of a little kid.
I know.
He's so cute. How could you not love Vladimir Guerrero Jr.?
I do.
And you do. The point is, if they're playing on opposite channels, which one are you watching? And for me, it's the Blue Jays right now. Alan the intern, whom we love, he votes for the Raptors. He says back-to-back. There's no wrong answer on this poll question. It's just who's got you more excited these days. Those are the quick 6 show topics, and that's a lot. At the end of the day, there will be a test for the rock star of the day. For our friends at Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions, you'll be voting on Tori Gurley, Randy Chevrier, Kevin Kaminsky, or some fourth person jumps out of the water and has, is the rock star of the day. You could vote for them, like a viewer or something. Yeah. Do something interesting out there, you guys, you viewers. Make yourselves the star. That's what we promote here.
Yeah.
You can be the star of the show.
Absolutely.
Make us thinking. Send us a funny tweet. I told you we would make you feel good over the next couple of hours. Help yourself out in that regard.
Use the hashtag RP show when you post your pictures, whatever it might be.
Absolutely. A lot of people writing in for the Raptors, and that's cool. Nick McConnell from the Raptors, 100 bench points. Insane. That's an NBA record that they set in the clincher over the Nets. Friday's rock star was Charleston Hughes of the Rough Riders. Another point, CFL Sim, Saskatchewan routed Edmonton 36-15 in Friday Night Football here on our CFL Sim computer-generated game. Turns out I said Eskimos more than John Lynch did.
I know.
You noticed that?
Yeah.
Talk about old habits.
But massively on the under. It was only like 6 or 8 times you guys said it all game.
Yeah, and the over-under was set at 25.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Kozak says, how about Rod getting Rock Star of the Day? I very rarely put myself in contention for that poll, but I'm here every day, so wouldn't be fair. Snowman's watching from North Carolina. He says, I'm the Rock Star of the Day. You can't vote for yourself, Snowman.
You got to do something so that we'll vote for you.
Yeah, exactly. Make us laugh. Tell us a joke. Be entertaining. A couple other notes before we circle back on the quick six. Ricky the Iguana. I don't know if we have any photos of him, but he was out all over the province on the weekend. He is the show mascot. You see him on the screen there. Ricky the Iguana is our show mascot, and he looked to really be thrilling the youngsters at the farmers market on the weekend.
Oh, yeah. They had a great time. Lots of photos. I was getting Snapchats of, friends and people I know that were like, hey, your mascot's out here at the farmers market, and it was really great. So, beautiful day. It was a little hot. The iguana, I know he loves the heat, but couldn't do the full 4-hour stint at the market. But it was a lot of fun.
So, as we crack the lid on a brand new week, here we go. So, to the CFL news, let's get to it here and actually, Tori Gurley coming up, our NFL insider. He's also CFL alum, so he'll have some thoughts on this. The conditions for if you're a CFL player who's under contract for this season or even next season, you can rip up your contract right now if you want out of it to go to the NFL, to go to Europe like Max Zimmerman did. The conditions are these. You won't be eligible for CERB or wage subsidy or however what the benefits are as soon as you're done. And you only have till next Monday to make your decision on that, by the way. But you won't be able to get the wage subsidy, which is fair. You're ripping up your contract.
Yeah.
2, if you don't latch on in the NFL or another league or get cut, you've got to come back to the CFL team that you had your original contract with. And you also can't sign with any other team in the CFL. All those conditions to me are fair. How about you?
They are extremely fair. And that was my first thought with some guys that, like a McLeod Bethel Thompson. He's going to go take his shot, sure. But he might not like the addition of Matt Nichols in the offseason and think, geez, I'd really love to go to X team and take a shot at some more playing time. So I'm going to rip up my deal and go play. That's not the deal, right? You signed that deal with the intent of playing with that team in the CFL. You can rip it up to go somewhere else, but not... Yeah, maybe the XFL, and they're excited about The Rock, firing up at the Spring League again.
I think you're going to see a lot of that.
You're going to see guys maybe potentially do that. But it's going to be an interesting week to see how many people... You know what? If you can come back to your team, and explain this to me, do they automatically have that spot? Or does the team get to say, you ripped up your contract, we don't want you anymore?
That's the chance you take.
Right? Because if there's no risk and you're going to be able to walk back into your old deal, I could see a lot of guys ripping up their deal just to take the chance. But if there's a chance that spot might get filled,
it's what Lowther's doing.
Yeah.
And I talked to Brett yesterday. Star Rider kicker, I would say a fan favorite here, had a couple of walk-off game-winning field goals last year for Saskatchewan. He's ripped up his contract. He doesn't have an NFL deal right now, but basically what Brett's saying is, if not now, when?
Yeah.
Now's the time. So he's going to take his shot because he's under contract to the Rough Riders, or at least he was going into the weekend, and now he's free and he can sign wherever he wants. I'm sure the Riders would take him back, but that's a huge gamble he's taking. This is the one thing that people don't understand with the CFL. Most of these players now have other jobs. We talked about Charleston Hughes Landscaping. Brett Lowther has bartended and bounced and done roofing. They're all doing that.
Yeah.
So they're betting on themselves football-wise, but as far as money, they've all got other jobs. This is a pretty easy thing for them to do. But Dakota Shepley opting out. That news came out today. He's a big name with the Rough Riders, starting right guard, as I mentioned. And you mentioned Macbeth. He was a backup in the NFL forever, comes to Toronto, started for a while because these guys all want to play. But now he's backing up Matt Nichols. He's like, if I'm going to back up in either league, I might as well be in the NFL. If I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own reasons why they're doing these things, but I think it's very admirable of the CFL to allow the players to do this. Moving on, though, to the point of next season, 2021. We're talking to business people on the weekend. It's interesting. I was at the lake, was talking to a construction guy, Darren. He's retired now, but I said, how's COVID going? And he's not old. He just made a lot of money, and he said, I don't want to work anymore.
Yeah.
But he goes, all my friends in construction are robust, Rod. They're going. Their biggest problem is they can't find workers. Everybody wants to stay home and collect CERB. And for you Americans that are watching, the Canadian government's handing out $2,000 a month for you to stay home. There are some that think they are training Canadians to get addicted to free money and they'll never want to work again and they'll control the population. I'm not saying that. That's what my friends are saying. Anyways, the guy goes, everything's great in our world. In construction, we're rolling. And I said, well, in mine, it's not great. Sports, entertainment, fitness facilities, restaurants, taking it in the pills for 6 months with no sign of it ending anytime soon. These are the people that I'm talking with every day. And you understand from a business perspective with sports leagues, they're forecasting there and they're looking ahead. Remember with the NFL? We talked about will the stadiums be open in the NFL in time for the season? We thought, well, by September, things are going to look a lot different than they do now in May and June. They don't. So what's to say that anything's going to change by next year for the Canadian Football League? And how can you project if you're talking about paring down your office staff, your coaching staff? How do you even know what to do?
You have no idea what to do. No clue. That's the tough part is we don't know what the restrictions are going to be like or if it's going to get any worse. We've kind of hit what feels like this little like cruise control, right? With the pandemic, we're in a spot where we're in a holding pattern. Things aren't getting better. Things aren't getting too much worse, but things are still, tenuous at best. And we could be in the situation next year, and let me tell you, they're not going to be traveling. They're not going to be able to go back to business as usual. They better find a new normal in a hurry and a way to play and a way to, create revenue and safely put some fans back in the stands quickly. But, man, it's not going to be what we knew it to be.
Can you put the comment up on my monitor from Nelson that just came up? We were awaiting a Save the CFL campaign. We were teased that it was going to come out by Friday of last week, and now I expected it would come out this week, and it sounds like Nelson says they have announced it this morning. Here, Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says, here is the Save the CFL campaign. Is this an actual thing, or are you just guessing, Nelson? The Grey Cup, it's on Twitter. Okay, the Grey Cup fan base. A multi-level podium dedicated to the fans of the CFL nationwide. Use your season ticket credit towards having your name on the podium for just $349 plus tax. So it's like buying a bench in the park and putting your name on it for others to see forever?
That's what it sounds like. AKA a donation.
It's a donation. Nelson, this is real. So they're asking you to dig into your pocket to the tune of $350. You'll get your name on the podium, and that's saving the CFL campaign. Well, good for them. I hope it works.
Is this a virtual podium?
Is it real or is it virtual?
Or a real podium?
I'll have to get the news release here because this has come down since we've been on the air on the rollout. But that's the campaign. I was told to be on the lookout for this, and this is what it is. Today, donate to the CFL $350 and get your name on the podium. That's what it sounds like to me. So lots to unpack and get to. Our NFL insider, Tori Gurley, coming up right after the break. We got a sports update coming up, viewer takeover, of course. I want to get your thoughts on this campaign donation to the CFL, folks. And, of course, Kevin Killer Kaminsky and Randy Chevrier coming up, too. It's the rollout for Flooring Superstores. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV Network, Facebook Live, and listening around the world at rodpeterson.com.
You're watching Rod Peterson On Demand. For more of The Rod Peterson Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Peterson on social media.